Good morning and welcome to the Betting Connection podcast. We've been on a long holiday since the end of last season, but the new season is upon us real soon. I'm here with my partner in crime, Rob. Rob, how the hell are you doing? And have you missed me?
Hey Chris, happy to hear from you again. Glad to be back in business. Yeah, definitely miss you. We even haven't seen each other over the summer, what we normally would do, but yeah, it didn't came to that. Yeah, looking forward to the new season. Lots of transfers, lots of things going on. So yeah, let's dive into it. How was your summer, by the way?
Summer is long and hot for those that listen to the podcast. I do live in Spain. Spain's had an unbelievably hot summer, and we're not even into the hottest month of August yet. So it is crazy, but it's been good. It's been nice to have a bit of downtime after a busy season, and I'm very much looking forward to getting back into it now. I've got my itch going on the to get back into football and all things betting as well. But before we do that, Rob, obviously, we are talking, and I'm sure that there are some loyal listeners out there. But for those that are maybe picking up the podcast for the first time, let's just have a little introduction of who we are, Rob, for those first time listeners. Rob, give me a little bit about you.
Yeah, my name is Rob. I live in Holland, and I was a former tennis player, more or less. I always played football as well, alongside a big sports fan. I watch almost every sport, and like now in the summer, I've been watching Tour de France, a lot of tennis, and now back to the football season, where we originally done most of our betting. Yeah, been betting for over 20 years now, and yeah, we're doing quite well. We're still alive, and bit by bit building up our bankroll. So that's a little bit about me. Can you tell us a little bit about you, Chris?
Yeah, as I mentioned in my intro there, I live in Spain. I'm not Spanish, as you can probably tell by my accent. I am originally from London, but spent most of my life living everywhere. But huge sports fan, especially English football, but all European football. Also love my American sports as well. Absolutely love NFL. NBA, MLB, love it all. And yeah, just sports fanatic. I got into betting via a job that I did way back when basically I got paid to go and watch sports and deliver the real-time analytics for data companies who then distribute that information to all the bookies. So really got into that side of it back then. And then, yeah, kind of bet recreationally since then. And yeah, we teamed together. We've been betting together for quite a few years, but we created this podcast and our social media handles at the beginning of last season. And we specialize in value picks mostly, Rob, don't we? We like to pick the value in the market rather than just picking the obvious choices. We do have some fun bets and, kind of shorter odds in terms of big actors, but we like to find those single picks of value range. And we've done pretty damn well last season, and we're looking to continue again this season.
Yeah, and I think it's a mixture, huh? We definitely were on the right path with the big gun Aka last season, where we pick a couple of big teams that they really need to win those matches. They're quite short on odds, but you have to avoid the landmines and then the blow ups, and then you can find some big on Akas as we did last season. And yeah, mainly value picks. It's I think that's the way to go with the strategy in betting anyways. You don't have to put too many Akas on, but find those value spots, find those odds on match.
Yeah, the by value, we normally go from kind of 1.7 to 2 plus, obviously, anything high, and sometimes some real value or dark horses as well, or underdogs. But yeah, anything from about 1.7 upwards in decimal, that is what we look at for value, because you can play the single plays on them, and over the course of the season you do grow your bankroll. This season we did keep a track of things, but we didn't do it I suppose, officially last season. I am a bit of a stat man. I am a data nerd. This season, I'm going to create a spreadsheet. It's going to blow your mind, Rob, and keep track of absolutely everything that we are talking about and make sure that we know exactly how much money we're making for ourselves and our listeners.
Okay, looking forward to that.
Okay, but before we get there, today we're going to preview all the major European leagues and the upcoming season. We're going to have a little look into any news, any interesting information that's going on with specific clubs at the moment, and there is a lot. It's been a very busy summer transfer window. We're going to break down who we think are going to win the leagues, top scorers potentially, dark horses, any value, and of course we're going to talk about value. And we're going to have a little look also at the opening weekend of the season to see if there's any early prices that are catching our attention. And spoiler alert, I can see quite a lot of value already.
Okay, looking forward. Let's go.
So let's get into it, and we always start with I suppose it's seen as the number one league in world football, or at least maybe that's my bias, being from England, but it is the Premier League. For those who have listened will know this, for those that won't, but Rob, you are a Liverpool fan and I am an Arsenal fan, so automatically we are rivals, as last season saw that being the top two. This season, right off the bat, is it Arsenal and Liverpool again? What are you thinking?
Definitely seems like it. Although Chelsea could be a team that's contending for the top two as well, in my eyes. Manchester City is not the same Manchester City as a couple of years ago, in my opinion. They also had a couple of transfers that are not the standard of Manchester City, at least like 4, 5, 6 years ago. They don't seem that invincible to me. And if you think of Liverpool and Arsenal, I think they did some real good transfers in. Lots of things happening over there as well. But in my eyes, it's Liverpool, Arsenal, maybe Chelsea can join them. But Manchester City is not going to be in the top two, in my eyes. What do you think?
I tend to agree. I think Chelsea can potentially be a threat. I didn't enjoy the Club World Cup, or whatever that pre-season friendly competition was called. But obviously Chelsea do find a way of winning these things so they can brag about being world champions. It's very annoying, especially as my dad is a Chelsea fan. But I do see that the top two will probably be Liverpool and Arsenal, and the bookies do have it as that as well. It's fairly tight though. Actually, I think this has changed since I last looked at it. But Liverpool are 2.75 and Arsenal are 3.25. So not a lot in it. And like I say, I think that's actually changed because I saw this a couple of weeks ago and it was a little bit more on for favourite for Liverpool. But I think because Arsenal signed Gyökeres, I think that gap has closed a little bit. But if Liverpool were to sign Alexander Isak, which is looking very likely, I imagine those odds to change again.
Yeah, they might. It would be a great signing for Liverpool, although they already got what Etike. Let me say it correctly. I have to find the name.
Ekitike.
Ekitike. So yeah, that's two strikers, or more or less two strikers. Although they needed some proper strikers, but now they have two for big amount of money. So I'm not sure how's that gonna work out. Although I imagine Isak's gonna be the first option for Arne Slot. So yeah, don't know.
Yeah, I'm not too sure about this Ekitike. He does look like a promising striker, a project for sure. It's a lot of money to pay for a project. He does look like a rough diamond. He could explode. He could be the next Isak, for example. I know there's comparisons to Thierry Henry, but I'd say, hey, slow down. But I just don't know. I don't really see the thinking here. If Liverpool's aim was always to buy Isak, I really don't know why they've put this much money into Ekitike. But look, it is about depth as well. And I think that we are starting to see, and although Liverpool did very well with injuries last season, and obviously we spoke about it largely on the pod with with Slot being, I suppose you said it at the time that he was probably bought into Liverpool as that was one of his major pluses, that he was the king of keeping people fresh and keeping them fit, and we saw that last season with Liverpool, especially with some aging players. So like normally, though, what you see is more and more there's injuries. There's more and more games, there's more injuries. And apart from Liverpool, nearly every team suffered hugely last season with injuries. So I do think now, more important than ever, that you have a real depth to your squad and two really good players in each position, more than ever.
Yeah, yeah, it's the way the game is being played lately of the last couple of years. It's high intensity, a lot of games, and definitely imagine Chelsea already had the World Cup, Manchester City already had the World Cup. At least Liverpool and Arsenal had a bit of a rest, so they must be fully ready. Yeah, for Liverpool wise, I think the transfers gave are gonna give Arne Slot a lot more options. Florian Wirtz is a real number 10, or at least could play like a real number 10. So yeah, that's a different style Liverpool can play if they want to. And I think Arne Slot likes to change formations now and then, or likes to see what the opposition is doing and try to figure out the next move. Always try to keep thinking ahead, and at least they've done that. Although they have the right back option, they really have to figure that out. Not sure if they can replace Alexander Arnold leaving, so we have to see if Jeremy Frimpong or Bradley can pick up that spot. So yeah, I think Liverpool looks really good. In my eyes, they are title contenders for sure. That's why they're odds on, or almost odds on. 2.75. What did you find?
2.75. Yeah, I think it's actually quite good value, to be honest. I think even as an Arsenal fan, I do make Liverpool favourites. They're defending champions. They've had an unbelievable transfer window and likely to get better. Arsenal have also had a fantastic transfer window and likely to get better. But Arsenal are playing catch up. So I think the odds are right, but I'd actually say a bit generous, I think. And I think Liverpool are actually very good value. And if I didn't have, you know, my heart into Arsenal, I'd probably make a play on that, to be honest. But I'm just not going to do it because I just can't. But like honestly, I think it's good. I think it's good value, nearly 2-1
Yeah.
for Liverpool to back up last season with another win. But
Yeah.
you mentioned there the Club World Cup. I do think that is a factor, and I think this is where we've got to try and look for value, especially at the start of the season. Yeah, like start of the season, Chelsea and Man City might be slow starters. So it's one where I am personally probably going to avoid the bait of really short odds for those two teams and potentially even look at the long shot, the underdog, or maybe the drawn no bet or the double chance on the opposition in certain matchups at the beginning of the season because they could be slow starters.
Yeah, and I think if you go back in a couple of years, Manchester City tends to start slow already. So if you combine that with even playing in the World Cup, having a lot of changes through the personnel, Kevin De Bruyne is leaving the club. I think he was like, yeah, big part of the success, or maybe the biggest part of the success in the last 7, 8 years for Manchester City. So there must gonna be a lot of changes as well. So yeah, good shout.
So, okay, we spoke a little bit about the teams at the top. Let's just go with it. While we're on that particular subject, let's go it. Gun to your head or money in the bookies. Who are you betting to win the league?
Liverpool. You?
Arsenal. Arsenal.
No, okay, we have our first
So
one.
there you go, guys. Straight off the bat, we've both gone with our own teams to win the league. No objectivity here at all.
Although, yeah, I became Liverpool fan when they were like sixth or seventh in the league. You remember it? when they had Shelby and they had like a horrible team to be honest. And now it feels so strange to have a team that's really a title contender, or at least the biggest favorite for this season. So yeah, definitely looking forward to that, and we have to enjoy those moments that the teams are on top because you never know where it's gonna go.
And look, we joke about it. In the world of betting, you always have, I suppose, a little bit of bias towards your own team, and sometimes that can create problems in betting, and sometimes it can actually sway you against it. Sometimes because you get a little bit confused between your head and your heart. And, sometimes you can, back your team thinking that, all is well and it's not. And vice versa. Sometimes you can be, oh, that, it's too good to be true sort of thing. And you can say, oh, no, I'm not backing it because I don't want to lose the bet and lose the match, So it can get a bit confusing with your own team. So what I'd say for our listeners, if I am personally backing Arsenal, take it with a pinch of salt potentially, but hopefully that you can look at it more objectively. But there are always reasons. You will know, for anyone that's listened, and Rob, that I'm very stats driven with the way that I do my analysis and research. So I do still like to think that it's not about bias, but sometimes, that can come into it. And I'm sure everybody out there has that kind of conundrum when they're betting on their own team.
Yeah, definitely a little bit, although we've been betting for such a long time that at least I don't feel like I'm that biased anymore because I just think about betting first and prioritize winning the league second, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, that we can put our business hats on, let's call it, because we do see it as a business. So yeah, we can put our business hats on and forget who we support. But look, when it comes, like I say, when it comes to who I think will win the league, I think Liverpool are rightly favourites. I think they're actually very good value, but I will be putting my money on Arsenal because I just have to. But anyway, let's look at the other end of the table then, and relegation candidates. Obviously, last season was a case of 3 up, 3 down, one of the worst relegation battles in the history of the Premier League. And yeah, I don't know if you have an opinion on it this season. We've got Leeds, Burnley, Sunderland. They are not the three favourites to be relegated. Sunderland and Burnley are joint favourites to be relegated. And you've got Wolves, Brentford thrown in there as well. Do you have an opinion on I suppose, the quality difference between the Championship and the Premier League? And is this going to be a thing of the future where we just see the promoted teams go back down?
I think it's really dependable on the team as well. We see that more and more often that the teams that are being promoted from the championship go directly back to the championship after spending a season of losing loads of matches in the Premier League. They really try to buy. At least Sunderland, they bought so many players. So I think it's always a gamble because you have to fit in all those players as well. Then again, there is that difference in quality between the Championship and Premier League, so you have to try something. If I was technical manager, I would try to buy in smart young players that would stick with you in the Championship. So the next time around, you can jump back in the Premier League and then maybe try to survive. Not really sure about it. I can't say a lot about it. Maybe you have a more opinion about who's going down this season. The only thing is that if I look at Wolves or Brentford or West Ham or Crystal Palace, Everton, they're all good teams. They're all quite good. They could have like a good season as well. West Ham was not so long ago. They won the Europa League. So yeah, I'm not sure. Do you have an opinion about it?
I don't know what to expect from the teams coming up. I really don't. It really can go either way. Sometimes it's the team that didn't win the Championship that actually perform better in the Premier League once they get there. And there's something telling me that Sunderland won't be the worst team in the league. I'm not sure they'll stay up. I'm not sure. But I do think that They can potentially surprise a few people. They signed Granit Xhaka. I just see that as a really, really solid signing. And they've brought in a couple of other players as well. I don't know what to expect from them because they didn't really deserve in many ways to get promoted in the first place. But that's what I mean. Sometimes it's this team that actually perform better than the team that actually win the championship. So honestly, I don't know, but I do have a feeling that Brentford might go down this season.
Okay.
Brentford have lost their manager, they've lost their captain, they've lost their best player. So, and potentially they'll lose their second best player in Wissa as well. Obviously, Mboma has already gone. Norgard's gone, their captain. Thomas Frank has gone to Tottenham. And I just think they're going to struggle. And I think you'll see now how good a job Thomas Frank did do there with a restricted budget. He had a style of playing. And yeah, I do see them. And what are they? Brentford are 4.33 to get relegated.
Yeah,
I fancy that.
their top signing so far this season is Anthony Milambo from Feyenoord. And as you know, I'm also a supporter at least for Feyenoord, or I have sympathy for Feyenoord. And yeah, it's a big shoes to fill for Milambo. He's all right. He's definitely a big talent, but him as your biggest signing after losing Mbeumo and Norgard, it's gonna be a tough task. Yeah, so maybe could be.
Yeah, I think so. And I tell you what, we'll get onto the opening fixtures soon. But one thing that I will look at is the promoted teams playing at home, their first home game. The
Yeah,
promoted teams' first home game, whether that be the opening weekend or the second weekend. Look out for that, especially if it's under the lights. There's a history there that they do okay in those matches, no matter who they play. So, and I've got a little one. I've got one already for the opening weekend. We'll touch on that shortly. Before we do that, let's go on to a dark horse. Is there anybody that you think is going to have a good season that maybe is not expected?
um, not really, to be honest. Do you have a team that you? What's a team that could go better? No. Not yeah, Chelsea is the team that I really like because they just going down underneath the radar, they're a little bit under the radar and they just seems to get the results. And although they played the World Cup, I do think they have a good team and lots of players, so they can change their formation as well. They can change their players, rest their players if they need to. But besides that, not really. Do you have one that you fancy?
I do, and it's going to absolutely shock you.
Okay, let's go.
Tottenham.
Oh my God, how can you say that as an Arsenal fan?
I know I just nearly spat as soon as I finished saying it, but yeah, and I'll tell you why. I think there's a lot of teams that have been doing very well, that kind of second tier, third tier, that have been doing really well lately. The likes of Villa, the likes of Newcastle, the likes of your Brightons, your Brentfords, your Fulhams. I think they've all kind of exceeded expectations over the last few seasons, but I think that's going to fizzle out a little bit. Newcastle, I think they're having a really bad summer, right? They can't seem to attract any player to them at the moment. Even Shesko, who was hotly linked recently, looks like he might go to United. I just got a feeling that teams like that might fade away. Villa have been very consistent recently, but they didn't have a great season last year. Really, they got, but look, Emery's Emery. Emery does do this. He kind of has amazing moments, but in the end, it doesn't end well. And that's happened at Valencia, Arsenal, even Villarreal. It doesn't end well with Emery, and I reckon that slide will happen at some point. So I'm looking at all the other teams, like that's we already talked about Brentford. I think they're going to struggle, and yeah, Brighton will probably still continue. Fulham will do okay, and Palace are losing a good player every season. They lost Elise last year. They are likely to lose Eze this year, maybe Mateta. So, what's going to happen with them? Not going to be as good, I don't think. So, yeah, I think it's an opportunity for Tottenham. All my Tottenham friends were absolutely devastated that Big Ange got sacked after they won the Europa League. And I just was like, guys, you're absolutely nuts. Have you just forgotten the whole season that you had just because you won like a Tim Pot European trophy at the end of it that had no good teams in it? And you played United in the final. That was one of the worst finals I've ever witnessed in my life. Have you forgotten the fact that you finished 17th in the season and Big Ange was an imposter? They seem to forget all that. Thomas Frank is a much, much better manager than that. He will not allow Tottenham to get eaten up at home the way that Big Ange has done time and time again. And I think that they will do better than people think.
Hey, biggest signing of Tottenham, Mohamed Kudus.
Kudus, good
And I
player.
do like him. He's a special talent. He can make something happen in a match, and you need those players. And second highest fee has been paid for Matisse Tel. He was on loan last season, and I do like him. He's a player from Bayern München, and now they signed him, picked him up for 35 million.
Yeah, yeah, good. I do like Kudus as well. I think he's a good player. I think there's question marks over his attitude. I think his off the ball work isn't the best, and I think that's why some other big teams didn't pull the trigger on him. But he's definitely a talent. Ball at his feet, yeah, and I think he'll thrive in a Tottenham team that tend to favour attack over defence. So yeah, no, I think Tottenham will do well. Kudus is a good signing, and other great signings. Obviously, we spoke about Liverpool. Have had an amazing window. Verts, Arsenal with Gyökeres and Zubimendi. Is there any other signings out there that's caught your eye?
Not, yeah, I'm interested in how Manchester United is gonna do with Embuemo and Cunha a little bit more. Like they paid loads and loads of money, but at least they are proven Premier League players. Not sure if they can cope with the responsibility of being a Manchester United player and the spotlight that they're under right now. But so far, so good. It gives them a lot of options, and I like to see a Manchester United that's at least competing in the top half. To be honest, it was not nice to see them back in 15, 16 plates. It's fun for a
Oh
season.
no, no, it was nice. No. Rob, I'll stop you there. It was very nice.
Okay, okay, for you it was very nice.
It's the difference between you being a Dutch Liverpool fan and an English Liverpool fan or an English Arsenal fan.
Yeah,
Come on, we all enjoyed it, Rob. We all
yeah,
enjoy.
that's true.
I know what you're trying to say, but come on.
Okay, I think it's quite similar to um as a player or as a supporter that doesn't like Ajax in Holland, and they all like it when Ajax slips up or makes a mistake. But yeah, it's quite similar to that. But I don't have that feeling towards Manchester United.
It was no, it was popcorn at the ready for sure. I loved every minute of it, to be quite honest, and I'm hoping for equal disasters, especially as Arsenal are playing them on the first day of the season. That brings us on. Actually, let's talk about it. Opening weekend of the season, and I mean, I just mentioned it there. I actually think it's really good value. Arsenal away at Man United, 2.1. That's the sort of value pick that I like. Man U, are they going to get their transfer business done in time? Not too sure. Arsenal have already got the majority of their business done. What do you think on that?
Yeah, definitely a good shout. I don't like to look too much into the friendlies or at least the results of the friendlies. Lots of teams don't really care. They just care about the fitness of their players and that they get match ready. So yeah, I really like that shout. I think Arsenal really wants to start the season off well, and Manchester United maybe still has to find the right combination of the new players. So yeah, good shout. I like that one.
Have you had a look at the opening weekend for any other value picks?
I'm trying to look at the odds right now, trying to
Well,
find them.
I'm gonna jump onto another one that I really like.
Go.
And I mentioned it in the preview there, talking about the promoted teams playing their first game at home. You cannot quantify the atmosphere in the stadiums for that match. First game back in the Premier League, and I've got my eyes firmly on Leeds United. They are playing the last game of the opening weekend, Monday night, I say it's under the lights. I suppose an 8 p.m. kickoff in August in the UK will finish under the lights. It probably doesn't start under the lights. But either way, it is going to be, holiday atmosphere, drinking all afternoon, Leeds fans, boisterous in the stadium at home against a struggling Everton. Everton have been absolute terrible pre-season by all accounts. They're trying to get players in. They're not getting players in. I do think Moyes generally will do a good job, but I do like Leeds at 2.5 to win that opening game of the season at home. What do you make of that one?
Yeah, you're a little bit more at home at these matches, to be honest. I'm not sure what to expect from Leeds, although I like your reasoning of a team that really tries to get things going after the summer. So yeah, it's definitely value for 2.55.
Yeah, I like it. I like it, and like I say, we're going to make some notes on the picks today, and when we go around the leagues, we're going to look at all the opening fixtures. Obviously, you will have more insight into the Eredivisie, which is actually starting the 7th of August, isn't it? That league, along with the Championship, that's starting soon, right?
I think it was 14th of August.
Is it
Not
14th?
sure. Maybe
Maybe
I have to check it again. But
the same.
second division is at least starting next week. That I'm
Oh,
sure.
maybe it's the second. Yeah, it's like the Championship in England starting a week early.
Yeah, let me check. Oh, although you're right, it's 8th of August. That's when they're gonna kick off. So
Yeah, I thought it was because I looked to see the order of when things start, and I saw the Championship. I thought I saw the Eredivisie starting, and then the Premier League's the following week, and then some of the other European leagues the week after. So yes, but anyway, let's continue on that opening weekend. There is a big match as well: Aston Villa, Newcastle.
Aston Villa, Newcastle. Yeah, for me, it's a pass at the moment. I really like to look into the season a little bit further to see how those teams are performing. Do you have an opinion about this one?
Yeah, I do have an opinion. I think Villa are credible value as well at home at 2.35. I'm not going to sleep on these prices, Rob. I think opening weekend could find some very good value. Newcastle are in all sorts of problems at the moment. Unsettled squad, 100%. Villa, I don't think they're going to be amazing, but at home they were fantastic last season, went on an incredible unbeaten run. And at 2.35 at home, I'm taking it.
Yeah, definitely a good price for them at home. So yeah, like it, like the shout.
Yeah, and I got a feeling that depending on how the rest of the window goes, that price could change. Yeah, it could get better in Newcastle's favour if they did get a couple of signings through the door. But if it stays very much as it is, Isak leaves. I'm telling you that Villa price won't be 2.35. So I'm definitely going to play that one early. And I don't know whether it's just because we've had a couple of months off, Rob, but I seem to be really quite headstrong with my picks for this weekend. And I've got another one, and it's a crazy one. It's an underdog, but I kind of like the look of Sunderland as well at home to West Ham, 3.20 underdog.
Yeah.
Yeah, just again for the same reason. I think these promoted teams, anything can happen during the season. But I mean, nothing beats that first day of the season. West Ham are another team that are kind of struggling as well. They didn't have a good finish to last season. They haven't set the world alight under Graham Potter, and yeah, like I say, Sunderland have done some smart additions, and I fancy them at home. Again, another really boisterous crowd there at Sunderland. So. And also catch this little stat that I've got, right? So the average home win percentage in the Premier League era is 45.8%. Yeah. So basically 45.8% of games is a home win in the Premier League era. Opening day of the season, 60%.
Oh, yeah, that's interesting.
So home teams tend to win more often than the average on that opening day of the season. I didn't look at the final day of the season, but do you remember that I had a similar philosophy towards the end of last season with the last game that's played at home, whether that be the last game or the penultimate game of the season. And I reckon that the odds will be something that the percentage will be something similar, because that first game and the last game just a little bit more on the home team, I think.
Yeah, that's the way we like to look at matches as well. I think if you look at only data, the bookies have it right on the money. That's how they build up those prices for those matches as well. And then you have to try to find those not emotional, but those seasonal things that come back over and over again, season after season. And if you see it back in the stats as well, 60% home winners, then the home teams are definitely a good shout. If I go back to the Sunderland West Ham game, like the price 3.2, at least that's the price that I found, is isn't that big, is really big because of something. That's why they're an underdog. But I do think it's a great price as well. Like if you put one unit in and you get plus 2 units profit for Sunderland in a game that could go either way. And as you said, if the team, the crowd is really behind Sunderland, they might pull off a good result. And for that price, it's a lot better price than, like, say, Tottenham beating Burnley at home for 1.3. Like that's a match that I would definitely stay away from because the price is
Yeah,
not
no value.
worth it. Like definitely Tottenham are gonna win more matches of Burnley if they play 100 times compared to Sunderland beating West Ham. But if you look at the difference in price, that's why we go for a team like Sunderland and would not play Tottenham Burnley.
No, and I don't even think Tottenham are worthy of the big gun acca either. Firstly, I don't ever
Oh,
want to see the name Tottenham on a big gun acca because it's kind of oxymoron, doesn't exist. Secondly, yeah, it's just you don't really know what you're going to get from Tottenham. I do imagine that they win in that game, but I ain't paying 1.33 to find out. That's for sure.
for exactly
So
the same price, you can find Liverpool at home beating Bournemouth. And that is a team that I would put on the big Anaka for just winning at home.
yeah, I think so. I do have actually one more. I have one more. Nottingham Forest 2.1 at home against Brentford. Again, like already spoke about it. Brentford, I think, are going to struggle this season. Are actually my tip to be relegated. Forest, they're not going to repeat last season. They're just not. Elanga's gone to Newcastle, but they did manage to keep Morgan Gibbs White, who did look like he was on his way to Tottenham, and then there was a big drama about the release clause and whatnot, and threat of legal action from Forest to Tottenham, and he's ended up signing a new contract, so he's staying. That's a big win for them. I don't think they'll be what they were last season, but they haven't lost many players yet. They haven't brought any in either. But again, Brentford already spoke about them, lost their manager, their captain, their best player, and possibly their second best player. Forest at home, spoke about the home percentage wins on the opening day of the season, better than even money for probably a 60% chance of win. I'm taking it again.
Okay, you have a lot of matches that you like this beginning weekend,
Yeah,
and
you can.
guys to remember, it's we have to hit 55% of the time, and if we hit even on these odds, if we hit 50% of our matches, then we're gonna end up in profit. So it's not very likely that all those matches are coming in, although we do have good reason for it, and I do like all the shouts that you just put out there. And well, we're going at least for 50% on this one, and then we'll be in profit, and that's how it works.
Yeah, exactly. And to be honest with you, I don't get to have this much fun when making my picks through a season because I end up like just getting buried in numbers and stats analysis. And so I don't have any of that, that advantage for the first few weeks of the season. So it is very much more gut instinct, a little bit more like kind of just, yeah, like does it make sense? A bit common sense, if you like. And I think, speaking about home teams in general on the opening day of the season makes sense. The statistic actually backs that up as well. So I have got some stats there. And yeah, just going to play it on the odds. And let's go for like half of these to win. We've got Leeds at home to Everton. We've got Forest at home to Brentford. We've got Sunderland's a bit of a longer shot, but Sunderland at home to West Ham. Villa at home to Newcastle. And Arsenal away at United, the only away one, but they're all better than even money. Five there, three of them win. Happy days.
Happy days.
Okay, look, we've got straight in there with five value picks. Maybe I'm going a bit crazy just because I've had no action for the last 2 months, and I've just been like let out for the weekend after being, like stuck at home. I don't know, like first boys' night out in about 3 months. I feel like it's gone absolutely crazy. Next 6 pints and falling asleep at the bar. That's how I feel. But let's roll with it. You never know. You mentioned one that you liked as well as value pick, but it was more about picking was it a handicap? Did you say?
Yeah, if I really like Liverpool at home beating Bournemouth, as we talked about before. I think, or not, we didn't talk about Bournemouth before, but they had a lot of big players leaving the club, with Dean Huijsen, Kerkers also leaving. So defensively, they're gonna have a tough time. Salah always likes to score on the first game of the season to get all the FPL players ready if they have him as captain. But yeah, I think Liverpool with a handicap, so they start 1-0 behind. You can find them for 1.8. That's my shout for the first, my only one.
Okay, so 1.8 for Liverpool -1, but that nicely into value pick range, and yeah, that makes it six. So we've got 6 picks for the opening day of the Premier League weekend, and we don't actually go that heavy, do we? As the season takes place, you find that there isn't actually a lot of value in the Premier League, and we don't. That's probably one of the lesser picked leagues, would you say, as we go along?
Yeah, it depends. Definitely, it depends on how the season goes as well. A way that we try to bet, at least that what we saw last season as well, is try to find those teams that are not like the teams that on beforehand are the favorites to win, but they go on like different kind of streaks. And you had like Aberdeen that we were doing a lot of betting on last season because they got into a real good motion. Yeah, you will find those teams as well. I think we had a couple in the Bundesliga as well that were doing really well. Same goes for France. So we always find those gems, and then we
Strasbourg,
have to try.
Strasbourg.
Strasbourg, that's the one. So
Hey, let's not give anything away before we get to that and review the French league and potential dark horses. We won't get into that, but a little bit of a spoiler alert. But we like Strasbourg.
yeah, so yeah, we always try to find those kind of teams, and yeah, we'll try to identify them soon enough, and we probably have a couple of them in mind already. So yeah, that's
Indeed, indeed. Okay, so look, before we wrap up our Premier League preview, I'm going to put you on the spot again. Top goal scorer.
Ooh, that's a tough one. I actually was looking at the odds, and a big favorite in that competition is Haaland for 2.2. Mohamed Salah 5.5, Alexander Isak 7.0, Gyökeres 7.0, Ekiteke 17.0. Wow, I think it's I don't feel Haaland's gonna run away with it. So there's definitely value in the other ones. Then I would pick Mohamed Salah because he's gonna play most of the matches. Alexander Isak, if he goes to Liverpool, he probably has to share his time on the pitch with Ekiteke. So then I think it would be between Salah and Gyökeres, and then I'm gonna take Salah, and I will leave at least the option for you.
I think you know who I'm going for. So I got to go Gyökeres because Arsenal have been crying out for a number 9 for a long time, and even with even the likes of Aubameyang, I don't think we've ever really had anyone that lives and breathes goals like Gyökeres. Really, like it's just we just haven't. It's just no, probably even Thierry Henry was developed into a striker. He wasn't a natural born goal scorer. I don't think we've had one since Ian Wright. Maybe Van Persie, but even he had more technicality to his game, like, but real just born out and out goal scorer. I'm going back to Ian Wright potentially. So I think this is desperately what Arsenal need. I'm not sure if he's going to start the season. I still think like Arteta loves a bit of Havertz, and I think we might get to see Havertz and Gyökeres play together potentially. But I do think he'll bang, and I do think he'll score a lot of goals, and I've got to back him. And by the way, I don't even think we know if Isak can handle 3 games a season, 3 games a week. Anyway, he's proven to be injured more often than not when that happens.
Yeah, it's an interesting market to be fair. If you don't like Haaland to get to be the top scorer, then there's value in almost everyone else. And then with Liverpool signing Isaac, you have yeah 3 players that I actually like as a goal scorer. But yeah, maybe there's a dark horse in there. Maybe there's a Cole Palmer or Ollie Watkins or João Pedro, or I don't know. It's an interesting market.
Potentially,
Yeah.
potentially. But look, okay, let's just summarize these picks because we're going to revisit these at the end of the season because it's always funny to see how wrong we were. So let's just clarify. You are going for Liverpool to win the league and Salah top scorer, and I'm going Arsenal and Gyökeres. No bias there at all. Dark horse, we are going. I'm going Tottenham. I can't believe I've just said Tottenham, but I'm going Tottenham. And by dark horse, you've got to be imagining that they're going to be pushing European places after the shit show of last season. You've said Chelsea, but for Chelsea to be a dark horse, Rob, I think that means they're in a title race for a length of time.
Yeah, let's go for
Yeah.
that one. Yeah,
Yeah, because a dark horse for a team that already finished in top 4, they have to be the next level, right?
exactly.
Okay, and then relegation. I'm going Brentford. Are you gonna pick one? Because you never really said ones concretely.
No, I'm not gonna put my name out there. No, not sure.
You got to say someone.
Oh, I've got to say someone who goes down.
You got to say someone.
Who goes down?
Just pick what? Pick who?
Who's going down at least?
Yeah, just one team that's going down. Come on, just pick one of
One team that
the
goes
newbies.
down. Wow. Burnley.
Burnley. Okay, so you've gone Burnley, I've gone Brentford, and that is our picks. We've got our opening weekend picks, which we've already talked about. So that brings us to the end. For those that listen, know how we work. We normally, as the season goes through, we will record our podcasts on a Thursday, maybe Friday. Try to get those early prices, get those early value prices in for the weekend's European action. This is the end of our Premier League preview. We are going to preview the other leagues as well in the same kind of way between now and the start of the season. So I am super excited to be back. Rob, I imagine you are too.
Yeah, definitely. Let's get the season started.
Let's get the season started. Okay, guys, we will speak soon. Ciao for now.
Happy betting.